Nestled in the widest part of the Andes in west-central South America, the Altiplano is one of the most extensive areas of high plateaus on Earth. Welcome to Altiplano. Altiplano is a resource management game for 2 to 4 players from Renegade Games. Players will take on the roles of villagers trying to collect and convert resources to score the most points. Will you be able to collect the resources you need to excel in this harsh but beautiful environment? Or will you end up stranded on the shores of Lake Titicaca? Let's find out in Altiplano. Place the location tiles randomly in a circle to form the play area. Based on the number of players, place the number of goods tokens indicated in the rulebook and on each of the locations in their corresponding spots. Remove the rest of the goods from the game. Shuffle the order cards and remove 6 cards in a 2 or 3 player game or 4 cards in a 4 or 5 player game. Shuffle and place the order cards, house cards, and boat cards face up on the market, village, and harbor locations respectively. Place all of the food tiles and 50 coins in the middle of the play area. Place the extension strip near the play area. Remove the extensions that do not match the number of players you are playing with. Separate the extension tiles by their backs, shuffle them, and stack them starting with the D and stacking in order, leaving the A's on top. Place the top 5 cards next to the extension strip, starting with the bottom space. Give each player an action board, a warehouse, a game figure, marker, and container in their chosen color, 1 cart taken from the village, and 1 cloth bag. Each player places their marker on the top space of the road and their cart on the corresponding space on the action board. Give the starting player figure to the youngest player. Mix up the roll tiles and starting with the first player, give 1 to each player. You can choose your rolls by laying the roll tiles out face up and starting with the last player and continuing counterclockwise. Each player will collect the goods listed at the bottom of their card. Finally, place your figure on the location of your choice. Now you are ready to play. Altiplano is played over a series of rounds, and each round has 4 phases: drawing, planning, actions, and new round. During the draw phase, players will simultaneously draw the number of tokens equal to the number of empty available planning spaces on their action board. At the beginning of the game, all players will draw 4 tiles. As the game progresses, more planning spaces can become available. If you run out of tiles to place, dump the tiles in your container back into your bag and continue drawing as normal. You can choose to put unused tiles from either action spaces or planning spaces back into the bag as well. However, you cannot take tiles that have been placed into the warehouse. Once all players have completed their draw phases, players will simultaneously plan their actions. Each section of the board represents a location in the play area. Each location on your player board has 2 or 3 locations for tokens, and the list of possible actions listed either above or below the locations, and each roll tile will have an action. For example, if I wanted stone, I would place 2 food on the mining location. If I wanted to plan to move, I would place a food on the food spaces next to the cart spaces. Once all players have declared that they are finished planning, continue on to the action phase. In clockwise order, players will either carry out 1 action or pass. Continue around the table until all players have passed. You can take your actions in any order on your player board. To complete an action, place the tokens on the action space into your container and collect the good indicated. You must be in the location listed on the action board in order to complete the action. The good collected will also be placed into your container. While actions on the board are listed, let's take a closer look at some of the spaces. The card spaces in the center of the board are for your movement actions. When you want to move, you can either pay a food to move one location adjacent to you, either left or right, or you can take a cart. When taking a cart, you can move up to 3 spaces. The initial cart you start with allows you to take this action for free. This can be used once per round. If you choose to purchase more carts and use them within the round, you must pay a food for them. When you're at the village location, you can choose to store goods in your warehouse. There are a few rules that you must follow. You have to fill your warehouse starting in the leftmost column on the bottom shelf, and continue to fill the left side before moving to the bottom shelf of the right side. You can only have one type of good per shelf. The only exception to this is corn. Corn will immediately be put into the warehouse when it is received and can be used as a substitute. For example, to complete this row, I would need one more fish, but I can place a corn tile here to complete it instead. However, if you have a row of just corn, this will supersede using it as a substitute. Finally, food can never go into the warehouse. Road construction allows you to open up more planting spaces and gain corn. Simply pay a wood and a stone, then move your piece up on the road location and take the corresponding reward. Once everyone has finished their actions, a few things need to be completed before moving on to the next round. First, move the starting player figure to the left. Move all used carts back to the left. If an extension was purchased, move the remaining down to fill the blank space and reveal a new extension at the top. If no extension was purchased, remove the bottom extension of the strip, move the remaining down and reveal the top extension to fill the top space. The endgame is triggered as soon as all of the tiles and cards are used up on a location, like no fish and no boats are left, or all of the corn is gone, or an empty space when the extension strip cannot be replaced. When this happens, finish the round and complete one final round. Now it's time for scoring. Each player will take all the goods tiles from their container, bag, planting spaces, and action spaces, roll tile, and extensions, and lay them face up in front of them. The tiles in the warehouse are not removed but are still counted in the final scoring. Only the goods on order cards are not included in the count. Score the goods according to the score pad and score tiles provided. Food, money, fish, alpaca, and corn do not score. Wood, stone, and cacao score 1 per good owned. Wool and ore both score 2. Cloth and silver score 3, and glass scores 4. For each boat you own, you will score 2 points, and for each house, you will score 4 points. Add up all the points of your completed orders. Unfulfilled orders will not score, and the goods will not count. Then add any bonuses given by houses owned for each of the required goods. Finally, for each row of storage completed, score the number of points as indicated on the end of the row. Whoever has the most points wins. In the case of a tie, the tied player with the most coins wins. And that's Alta Plano. You can watch us play this and many other board games live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at twitch.tv/boardgamehouse.